Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're back out here. We're still working on the pulling tractor, but we're going to do some wiring on it. I'm still waiting on the block to get back from the machine shop, so that's on hold. Next, after the block gets back, we're going to we'll have the heads done. Probably get some bigger valves, longer valves, new roller rockers. A whole bunch of stuff on them, and then we can get back on reassembling and getting it back running. But today we're going to do the wiring on this thing. The last time I did it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, and I was kind of in a rush, and I'll swing y'all around here and show you what I'm talking about, and let you take a look at it for yourself. Sorry if the camera's a little out of focus. I think there's something going on. I use a GoPro to video with, and I think there's something going on with the case or something. To me, it looks like it's out of focus, but I won't be able to really tell until I get into editing. So there is the wiring. Turn you down a little bit so don't got so much of a glare on you. It's just yeah, it's spaghetti. You know, like I said, when I did it, it was kind of in a hurry, needed to get it done. But today we're going to take most all this out of here. There's only 3 basic things on this tractor. There is no ignition key. There's a master switch that kills power to everything. There's my ignition for the spark for my coil. There's a fuel pump, and then there's a switch for the cooling fans to cool the motor after the run. There is also a breakaway switch on the back. It's basically just a simple trailer grounding switch like you'd find on any of your utility trailers that have trailer brakes or anything. Normally open switch, pull the plug out of it, and makes contact on the inside and goes to ground. We use those on the K series, any engine with a point style ignition. It's really easy. You just run that thing right up to the points. When it grounds out, it grounds the points out, makes everything stop. Makes it stop sparking. When you add electric fuel pump and like electronic ignition, like I have, you can't just send it to ground. That's not how you kill the coils. You kill the power to the coils. So in this setup, I use a 5-pin relay. The circuit that is normally closed, which allows power through. Basically, the power from the battery just goes straight through it, right to my switches and stuff. And then on the 5th pin, which is I leave it as an open circuit. I run power to the relay. On the ground side of the relay, I run that to my grounding switch on the back. When it makes ground, it toggles the relay, opens the circuit, kills the power to everything, kills the fuel pump, kills the ignition. Everything's dead. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm gonna grab some wire cutters here. Of course, I got my coffee here, of course, but grab some wire cutters, start cutting some zip ties and getting some stuff out of the way, and we'll look at this again and see if we can't get it figured out and get it rewired. So we'll bring you back when we're doing that. Alright guys, this is what I got here. This is a 5-pin relay. These are the 2 wires coming in. One is the signal wire supposed to turn the solenoid on and off. The other one is the power that's supposed to come from your battery source, and then out to this wire goes out to whatever you're switching with your relay. This is the ground wire for the relay. What I've done is tied these 2 wires together. That way this relay has power to it continuously. The other blue wire here is the oh, sorry, this is the continuous power wire. That's supposed to be the key wire. This is the wire for whatever you're supposed to be switching on and off. I've tied those two together. Doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, but my power is going to come in on these two wires here, go out to my fuse box, or I'm sorry, my master switch on this wire, and then from my master switch in here, it's got a fuse on it. It'll be this wire here going in. It's got a fuse on it going into my master switch, from my master switch to a 4-pin relay, so I can shut the whole fuse box off on and off with my switch. And this relay will do nothing but the kill wire. The green wire here will be hooked into my kill wire on my breakaway switch. When it makes ground, it'll open this up to an open circuit and cut power out on this wire, and in a sense killing everything on the tractor. It'll have no fuel pump, no ignition, no cooling fans, no nothing. But in normal operation, this thing will just sit there and be mellow and really do nothing unless that breakaway switch is pulled. This will be the main. This relay, this 4-pin relay here, will be the main one that shuts the power on and off. If I have something go wrong while I'm going down the track, I can shut the main off, and it'll kill everything. After the main comes out of the fuse box and goes to my individual switches for my individual fuel pump, fan, ignition, and I can turn those on and off individually as needed. Usually, like I said, on this engine here, I'll get the motor spinning. Well, first I'll turn the fuel pump on, prime everything, get everything all primed up, shut the fuel pump off, hit the starter switch, get the engine spinning, and then hit the ignition switch, turn it on, send power to the ignition, it starts firing. Once it fires up, then I'll turn the fuel pump on. That way you're not pushing pressure against your carburetor and stuff. If the needle and seat's leaking a little bit, you won't flood the motor out, things like that. And then it'll fire up and run, usually, hopefully, pretty good. So let me get a few more things straightened out here, get some other old wires out of here, and then we'll move on and go from there. All right, y'all. I think I got a little bit of this figured out here. My blue wires are going to be for my ignition coils, or coil, it's a dual coil, and then I have red for the fuel pump, black for the grounding switch on the trailer brake, and then yellow will be for my starter. I got a little bit of wire loom put on here from this relay because it's already all wired in. I just need to cut the wire over here and add in my 5-pin, and then it'll be okay. Oh, and white will be for my cooling fans. White wire will be for my cooling fans. I'm going to strip this wire and put a wire end on it. This blue wire here will be the power to my ignition switch, and then it'll be blue coming out going to the coils and stuff. I need to put one of these little slip-on connectors on it here. If you guys haven't used this style, it's got heat shrink and solder right in it. Up here on this part here, there's some solder. When you heat it up with the heat gun, this will shrink, this will melt, and it'll solder that fitting right onto the wire. I've been using these things for a really long time, and they're really great little wire ends. A lot better than the old crimp-on style and the heat shrink. To my knowledge, I've never had one of those fail, come loose or get corrosion in it to the point where it's the wire connection with the thing, with the connector. So tell you what, I like my little wire strippers, but sure could use a pair of snap-on ones like Patty's Performance had that they gave away. Those things look really nice, but maybe next time or something. Of course, I won't buy them off the snap-on truck. I'm not a one. I don't have access to the snap-on trucks anymore, and two, I won't spend my. Come back. I need to get a different fitting here. Got a Yeeler one here now, so see, it'll slide right up on there now. Get my heat gun here. Yeah, I lost my end piece that supposed to wrap around this to keep the heat right here around the fitting. I lost it a long time ago. No clue where it got to, but after I get this one soldered up here, I'll try to get the camera a little closer and see if you guys can show you guys what I'm talking about here. There it goes. Alright, let's see if I can bring you guys up and around here and show you what I'm talking about. Sorry about the shaky camera here. Alright, if you guys can see that or not, how clear it is. But right in there is where the little heat shrink was, or the solder was. If you can look right up in there, I don't think you guys can see it. There's a little bead of solder sticking out of the end of that fitting. That sucked that solder right up into that fitting. That is now a permanent solder joint. And then the heat shrinks back there. Got your end up there where it slides in. So, yep, that's that. So, once that cools, I can tap that onto my fuse box right there. And then this is a 6th position little fuse box that I picked up at the parts store or something. Main power comes in over here, and power out on each one of the fuses. Next round here, we'll make the wire that comes off of that switch and goes up here into my indicator light for my ignition and out to the coils themselves. I'm going to run the wire that goes out to the coils extra long because I don't know exactly how long it's got to be for that, but it'll be all right. You know, I need to drink a coffee here now. All right, I'll bring you all back when I'm ready to do the second part of that wiring. All right, y'all, got all that. Got this wire here hooked up into my light. It's up in here. It's a little red light, or sorry, that one's a green one. Got my long wire coming off of the switch. I'll cut it to length whenever I get the engine and stuff back in. The next one I think I'll do is the fuel pump. It's mostly done. Just basically need to I'm gonna change the end on that and put a loop connector on, because here's where all my grounds go, at up here above this box. This is where all my grounds are at. I'll just, like I said, I'll just put a terminal end on, or loop end, ring end, sorry, I'm trying to be specific here, correct terminology. Put a ring end on it, mount it up there, and then take this connection here apart. I'll probably just put a butt connector on there and run a chunk of red wire off of there, and I'll have to need to make a wire up that goes from the switch over here to the fuse box in red, and that one will be done. So I hope you guys are kind of enjoying this, and maybe finding some humor in it or whatever, and the little educational, or I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but it's kind of relatively boring doing wiring. So just try to make all your joints, all your connections solid, and like I said, I'm trying to go color coordinated or color coded for each individual unit, or you know, each piece of the wiring harness. Make it a lot easier. If I have an issue, I can track it down a lot easier. But so, all right, guess I'll grab a chunk of red wire and a couple butt connectors and stuff, and we'll do that fuel pump wire. I'll bring you back when I'm doing that. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and I'm gonna end this video right here, right now. To me, wiring is kind of boring. Some of you may find it interesting. I don't. I do a lot of sitting here thinking, looking, running wires temporarily, and then cut, you know, change my mind and all that kind of stuff. I will bring you back though, once I get the engine all done, and then we'll go through the wiring again, and while I'm hooking it all up and stuff, and take it from there. But thank you all for stopping in and checking it out. Please click that like button. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. Share it out if you can. Tell your friends, and we will catch you next time when we're hopefully putting the new engine together. If not, we'll be doing something interesting, I'm sure. So thanks a lot again for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.